welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano, and today we will learn about the upcoming events and activities at the Dorothy Quincy Homestead here in Quincy. First, though, as always, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, it's 88 degrees with sunshine. We're in the middle of our first heat wave of the season. Temperatures today will climb into the low to mid 90s. There is an extreme heat warning in effect through 8 o'clock tomorrow night, so do be aware of that. With the heat and the humidity, it'll start to feel more like 100 degrees. Not cooling off much tonight. Hazy with lows this evening into the mid 70s. We could break the record tomorrow. The record high in Boston for tomorrow is 104 degrees, set back in 1911. And we could come close. That's just the air temperature. The feels-like temperature will be even hotter than that. So use extreme caution when you're outside tomorrow with the high of about 102 degrees. A little bit of a break on Wednesday, mix of sun and clouds and a high up around 90. Then relief moves in for Thursday. It'll be cloudy and cooler. Thursday's high is only in the low 70s. But again, sunshine and 88 Quincy right now. Checking out the news for you today. If the Grossman companies would like a tax break on their properties on Granite Street in Quincy for future development, that would have to be approved by the City Council first. That amendment was added to a proposal from Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch to include those two properties that are home to the Star Market and the TJ Maxx shopping areas to the city's Housing Development Incentive Plan. Ward 2 City Councilor Richard Ashe proposed that amendment, which passed unanimously.
Of the ordinance is not to authorize the mayor to negotiate these tax increments and increases, but rather to submit this property for the zoning under the HDIP requirements. I do think that language needs to be specific, though, in this ordinance. So I would propose an amendment to this language that says that any potential tax breaks or tax increment exemptions come back to the body for a vote on each specific increment exemption, should that be the case down the line.
Now, the amendment was offered after members of the public protested plans for a 20-year tax exemption for Grossman, saying that was inappropriate for their plans to develop luxury apartments and high-end retail establishments at those properties. A proposal for the city to sell a piece of property in Quincy Center to a developer remains under discussion by the Quincy City Council. Mayor Thomas Koch wants to sell the parcel at 1620 Hancock Street that was a burned-out, boarded-up building for over 25 years. The city took that property by eminent domain in 2022 and paid the owners $2.2 million. The plan now is to sell it to a developer for $1.9 million. Mayoral Representative Chris Walker says although the sale price is lower, the potential for future tax revenue is much higher.
Now, should anyone think that the city is somehow getting the short end of the stick on this, I want to make clear that right now, that vacant piece of property is generating no taxes. 3 years ago, prior to it being taken by the city, and for 20 some odd years being a blighted piece of property, it generated a grand total of $12,000 annually in taxes. Together with the adjacent property, the project that will be proposed eventually to the planning board will create $650,000 in annual taxes. That is the exact reason why we do urban renewal. That is the exact reason why we've been forced to take eminent domain authority. It's the exact reason why we've been successful in the downtown over the last 15 years, because we know there's the short term versus the long term. The short term is, well, you paid 2.2, you should get 2.2. The long term is we provide the opportunity to the developer to create a tenfold increase in revenue to the city of Quincy.
The former owners of that property are suing the city, claiming they were not paid a fair price. Mayor Thomas Koch says he's confident that the city followed proper procedures. The City Council will take up the matter again in September. The water at Wollaston Beach in Quincy was safe for swimming 88% of the time that it was tested last year. Save the Harbor, Save the Bay's annual beach water quality report card indicates that for the third year in a row, Wollaston's water tested acceptable for swimming 88% of the time between Memorial Day and Labor Day last season. The report card uses data collected by the state each week at public beaches from Nahant to Nantasket. Save the Harbor said there was a dramatic drop in water quality at Savin Hill and Dorchester, and also Nahant Beach had an unusually low rating. Signs and red flags are posted when the water tests indicate unsafe levels of bacteria. However, officials note that that system is flawed because those test results are 24 hours old. Pleasure Bay and City Point beaches in South Boston continue to earn 100% safety ratings last year. Well, Quincy College has a new athletic director. Doug Scott has been named to succeed Jack Raymer, who retired earlier this month after 9 years at the helm. Scott is a Quincy native. He's been basketball coach at Quincy College since 2016. His program has earned over 100 wins under his leadership, also won a regional championship. He also led a 20-game winning streak. Scott will continue on as head basketball coach while also serving as the athletic director. The Quincy College athletic program also includes men's ice hockey, baseball, and co-ed soccer and cross-country teams. Well, a Quincy fourth grader is the winner of a contest to name the new ferry that provides daily service exclusively from Squantum Point Park at Marina Bay to Boston. The MBTA sponsored a contest for students in Quincy, Winthrop, and Lynn to name the new ferries that provide service for those communities. And Atherton Howe Elementary School student Haley Summers submitted the winning name of Abigail Adams for the Quincy Ferry during a christening ceremony for the new ferries at Long Wharf in Boston last week. Principal Robin Maria said Haley is an inspiration for the whole school.
Our fourth grader, Haley Summers, is an excellent example of this. She is an active member of our school. She consistently shares her kindness and positive energy every day. She works hard. She's dedicated to all she does. She always shows willingness to help and include others, making our school a better place. When asked by her family if she wanted to submit a name for the ferry, it was no surprise that Haley decided to go for it, and also no surprise to the incredible inspiration she used to represent the city she's a proud member of. Many know Abigail Adams as her role as the wife of John Adams, the second U.S. president, the mother of John Quincy Adams, the sixth president. However, Abigail was a leader in her time and a significant advocate for rights and education. And her Remember the Ladies correspondence continues to be informative and inspiring. And as Haley reminds us, Abigail Adams' work was just as important as the boys'.
The Abigail Adams provides weekday service from Quincy to Logan Airport, the Seaport, and the Aquarium. A trip costs $6.50. The service began back on April 28th. It will run through November 26th. It's our check of news for you today. Coming up, the Dorothy Quincy Homestead has a very busy schedule of events planned this year. We'll get the details next. Welcome back. It's already been a very busy season at the Dorothy Quincy Homestead here in Quincy, but it's not over yet. So Paula Pierce is here to tell us what's next. Good to see you again, Paula.
Good to see you. Good. Well, thank you for having me back again.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, the homestead is, I like to call it, it's kind of a hidden gem.
It's a hidden gem.
It is, yeah.
You know, many years ago it wasn't open for the public, and now we used to be open 2 days, every other Saturday from 11 to 2, and now we are going to, as of July 1st, we're going to Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 2.
That's amazing.
Which is phenomenal.
Yeah, first time, right?
First time, and we are handicapped accessible.
Yes.
DCR has provided a handicap ramp, and the first floor is, throughout the first floor is handicap accessible.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's owned by the state, right?
It's owned by the state, and the National Society of Colonial Dames of America, Boston, actually has a 10-year lease on it. It goes back way, way back. They
Yes.
keep on renewing it.
Yeah.
The dames are responsible for the inside the house, for all the artifacts that we have, and they do a great job in managing it.
The stewards, basically, right?
They're stewards,
Yeah.
yep, and DCI takes care of the grounds, and we have Rebecca, who's wonderful, who takes care of the gardens. For many, I think over 40 years, Rebecca has
that right?
taken care of those gardens. On Fridays, we actually have master gardeners to come in, and they help her with the gardens, and they're actually beautiful this
Yeah.
year. So
So for newcomers, just a real brief history, if you could, about the Dorothy Quincy Homestead.
the house represents 300 years of American architect for both colonial, Georgiana, and Victoria designed. Edmund Quincy owned over 700 acres back then, and which is now back in 1630. It went down to Wollaston Beach, and now it has 1 acres today. Back in May 1904, the land was transferred to the dames for $9,000, and then in July 1904, it was transferred to DCR for $4,500.
So really, I mean, you know, the city, of course, as you know, is celebrating its 400th anniversary as a settlement, 1625. Dorothy Quincy House was built only 5 years later, the original part, right?
Original house,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes, yes. And then throughout the years, it has gone through different renovation stages. We're going to be getting 3 paintings of Peter Butler, who leased the property back then, I think, from Ebenezer Woodward, when Dr. Woodward owned it. So it's, you know, it has a lot of history in it. And those are going to go into the new visitor center. That was a donation from the Butler family.
I didn't realize there was a visitors center at the homestead.
We now have a visitor center. This is our second year having it.
Okay. Right at the homestead?
Right at the homestead. Okay. It's in the Peter Butler study. A handicap ramp goes up to that. We have handicap bathrooms now, all due to the thanks to the city of Quincy. For giving us a grant for those.
The community preservation
grant, you know.
Super, yeah.
They have been the homestead's been so fortunate to have those grants. This year we received a grant from City Quincy Art Council for $3,000, and then we just heard that we're getting a grant from the preservation for, I'm going to remember, $130,000 to rebuild the shed, to put a new roof on it, to de-lead it, and to basically update it.
Yeah.
And then we also got $80,000 to put the wheels back on John Hancock's shed.
Yes.
I mean, John Hancock's carriage.
His chariot.
Carriage.
Yes.
It's the original company that actually restored it back when, I'm not too sure. But they're actually doing the restoration on the, putting the wheels on the chariot, and it's gone for the summer. I thought it was going to stay for the summer, but now it's already gone to Middleborough to have its wheels put on.
Okay, so there'll be a grand opening of the chariot, I suppose.
There'll be, yes. And we're so excited about both having the shed done and having the wheels put on the chariot. So it's kind of nice. And DCR is actually putting in a permanent ramp, along with digging up the whole driveway and putting brand new driveway in at the homestead. And before they can do that, there is actually an archaeological dig going on now for the next 2 weeks at the homestead. Historic New England wanted that done prior to us digging up the driveway.
I see. Okay.
So this is all being funded by DCR, which is great.
So if they find anything of historic significance, will that be put on display?
They'll be put on display to see what DCR wanted to do. We did do a program last time, it was 3 years ago, where we had a program at the Quincy Historical Society.
Sure.
So we're looking forward, seeing what we'll find.
Yeah.
Maybe some gravestones. Who knows?
Well, you never know. I mean, it's almost 400 years of
Years
history,
ago,
right? Yeah.
you never know.
So really, the chariot, Paula, will be like a museum piece almost, right, at that point?
I think it is now, but
Yeah.
it's going to be probably the best-looking chariot from in New England.
Yeah.
And you look at it today before the wheels put on it, and I'm like, John Hancock wouldn't ride it, something like that. So which is very exciting.
Yes, yes.
So,
Well, it's, first governor of Massachusetts, right?
first governor of Massachusetts, and he might have driven down to Connecticut where John and Dorothy got married in that same chariot.
In that same chariot, yeah.
We don't know, but it could have happened.
Okay.
And this year, there's a special event we're working on to celebrate the 250 wedding anniversary of John and Dorothy on August 28th. So, which is really great.
Right at the homestead.
Right at the homestead.
Okay. Very good. As I mentioned, you've already had a couple of events take place, but there's much more to come.
Oh, much more to come.
Yes, yes.
So
beginning this Saturday, actually, right?
This Saturday, we have the Colonial Printer coming.
Yeah, I think
he's
we have
come
an
back,
image of that, actually.
He's come back. This is, I think, his third year I had him. He's a big draw.
There he is.
Here he is. He does a wonderful job showing, and he does have some of his prints available.
Okay, so this is Andrew Volpe?
Andrew Volpe,
Okay.
yep. I believe he's down by Park Street in Boston.
Okay.
And with July 5th, well, that is the Colonial chocolate maker. Big draw,
For all you sweet
delicious
tooths.
chocolate.
Yes.
He sells his chocolate, and he's a fabulous guy. This is his second year.
Yep.
Hopefully it won't rain. Last year it poured.
Oh, goodness,
And
no.
we did it inside, but now since we have if it rains or it's too hot,
There
I
he
can
is under
stick
the
him
tent
in.
there.
I can stick him in the shed
Okay.
where the chariot was.
And this is a pewter pot fine spiced chocolate.
There he is.
Yeah.
Really phenomenal. He's been at Sturbridge Village and many places across New England.
Okay. And you get to sample the chocolates, I'm guessing?
Sample the chocolates. He has a fabulous hot chocolate mix, and he has maybe 20 different types of chocolates.
Fun. Okay.
Bars. So he'll be selling those, and hey, come down for some chocolate.
July 5th, so it's a big weekend for sure.
Big weekend
Yeah,
for
okay.
that. My next one is July 26th, and we have Living History at the Quincy Homestead.
Yes.
Well, I'm finally getting my dream. I'm going to have muskets being fired at the homestead.
Yikes.
Yeah. And living history with reenactors and doing demonstrations, fashion show. It'd be a wonderful event.
This is Colonial Bailey's 2nd Massachusetts Regiment.
Regiment,
Okay.
yes.
And they
They
are-
have been, I've seen them down at the Alden House.
Oh, okay. Yep.
They do Alden Days down there, so
Very
which
nice.
is fabulous. The next thing I have is August 9th,
Mm-hmm.
which is a blacksmith in Colonial Tailor. The Colonial Tailor was here a couple of years ago, and the blacksmith is brand new. I saw the blacksmith down again at the Aldens. He was doing the demonstration.
Dean Rance.
Yes.
See him there?
There he is.
So does he have an actual forge that he brings?
Yep.
Really? Okay.
And he actually does his thing.
Makes some metal work right
Makes the
there.
metal work. Again, I mean, I think he sells some things too.
Neat.
So, neat. In the Colonial Tailor, Francis Cook, I think it's Henry Cook from Randolph.
Sure.
He does a lot of outfitting for these regiments that go out and does their clothing, and he will also be there that day. August 16th is Colonial Candle making. And that will be, I found this gentleman out at Sturbridge making candles, and he'll be doing a demonstration on making candles and probably selling them, which is great.
This is Chandler Joshua Dumit.
Yes. August 23rd is Colonial Weaver. We'll Zoe back. Zoe's probably the 4th time she's been at the homestead.
Okay. We don't have an image of her, unfortunately.
No, I don't have an image of Zoe, which is really phenomenal. let's see.
So these are all interactive demonstrations.
Interactive
presentations.
demonstration,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. And
To
in
see how
fact,
they
the
were
printer
made
will have.
in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The printer will have, he'll show you how to make a print
Right.
on the Colonial printing
Yeah.
press, which is phenomenal.
And these are free. There's no admission, right?
Oh, well, yeah, the
Yeah.
Homestead asks for $10 per admission, $10 donation per
Right.
person
Yep.
to be at the, to have a tour of the homestead.
Sure.
And that's how the cost of hiring docents to do the program.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Some of the students are getting involved this year.
We have students.
Yeah.
Bob Damon, City of Quincy historian, has worked with both high schools in getting us student docents for the year. They come, they help out, they listen to the tours, they get to do tours themselves, which is phenomenal. Right now we have 3 for the Saturdays, and then we have, Bob I think is getting us 3 more to be during the week.
Very good.
When the homestead is opening. So, which is phenomenal. We got these grants so that I could open the homestead.
Well, it really makes it much more accessible, for folks who might not be able to make it during the weekends to come during the week.
Right.
So-
And we're just a short walk from Quincy Square.
Right.
We're a short walk up to Peacefield with the Adamses.
Yes.
And it's people enjoy hearing about the history. It's a hidden gem.
It really is.
So I'm trying to get it out there.
We're trying to unmask it.
Unmask it as much as I can.
Right.
I'd also like to thank the carpentry department of Quincy High School for building 2 benches for our gardens.
Yes.
They're beautiful. And, I go looking for things. I really love looking for things. But the hours at the homestead are every Saturday from 11 to 2, starting July 1st. And starting July 1st, we'll be open Tuesday through Saturday.
11 to 2?
11 to 2.
Okay.
Yes. That's something new. We're going to try it.
So that's historic in itself, really, to be open during the week.
Oh, she's never been open during the week.
Yeah, right.
Right. And if you're lucky, Rebecca, who is our gardener, will be playing the spinet that's there during the tours.
Okay.
So it's, all in all, it's we try to make it enjoyable for people coming through.
I'm guessing there are many volunteer opportunities, Paula, at the Dorothy Quincy Homestead.
There's plenty of opportunities.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for docents, and I'm always looking for greeters. Just to welcome people to the property, it's very easy, or if we're having a special function, to guide the people to the correct area.
Is there a training process that takes place for volunteers?
There is.
Yeah.
We did one earlier in the year where one of our high school students, he's not a high school student anymore, he's at Boston University, and he took care of training anybody new that wanted to come to learn about the homestead and volunteer.
John Thomas, right?
John Thomas, yes.
He's been a guest on this program, and he volunteers here at QATV as well.
Yeah, John Thomas is and he's going to be the head guy doing the tours on Tuesday through Friday.
Oh, very good.
And he does a wonderful, wonderful job. To hear him talk about Judge Sewell, who was a Salem witch trial judge, is phenomenal. And hearing about the Quincy's living in the house through all those years. And I'll give you, when you do a tour, don't lick the wallpaper in the living room. It has arsenic in it.
Okay.
So the wallpapers are all really, they were maintained through the years.
Yeah, so it's original?
It's original.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Original wallpaper, but we tell them don't lick the wallpaper.
Okay, all right, good to know.
The green is arsenic, so that's one of the funniest things. And we'll show different things like the eel rake, where we know that the Adams actually went out to Black's Creek.
Yeah.
They fished for the eel, they smoked it, and they served it to the Adamses.
Okay.
Okay. Another great story is where Furnace Brook Parkway got its name. And but a lot of people come through the homestead are Quincy residents, and they
course.
don't realize it.
Yes.
But there was a furnace up in West Quincy that took water from the Blue Hills, and that's how it got its name, Furnace Brook.
Sure.
So I always quiz people if they knew
Very
that.
good.
They knew that.
A couple of different places to get information, discoverquincy.com, and also the Dames website
Yep.
as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
The website, which is really good.
Okay. And they can
We
reach out
usually
to
have
you.
a board, a sandwich board out at the Discover Quincy location on the days that we're open
Okay.
to generate people to come down to the homestead. And the Parks Department is wonderful too, because when they sell out, they said, oh, you have time to kill between tours, go, take a walk head over down to the homestead.
Super. Yeah.
Which is, it's great how the city of Quincy is supporting everything.
That's great to hear. Paula, always appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and learn about the homestead. Hopefully we've shed some light on it for folks.
I hope so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Check the forecast for you for the rest of the day. Today, it's going to be hot. Temperatures in the low to mid 90s this afternoon. That extreme heat warning runs through tomorrow night, so do be aware of that. Tomorrow, we could break a record. If we hit 104 or better, we'll break the record set back in 1911. The forecast high is 102 degrees for tomorrow. Wednesday, much cooler, only near 90 and in the low 70s by Thursday. Thanks again to Paula Pierce for joining us from the Dorothy Quincy Homestead. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching. Friday here in the show, we learned about the new museum that's dedicated to the former South Weymouth Naval Air Station. Meantime, check our website, qatv.org. You'll find all of our latest programs with news and information, video on demand, live streaming, and more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Stay cool.